Stay tuned for scenes from next week's all-new ER on NBC.
Next on Wave 3 News at 11, we'll show you how artificial heart patient Robert Tools is getting better and getting around town. And you'll hear from the Louisville mom who made history with 5 beautiful babies. Plus, you may be able to help police catch a killer.
John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. His name is my name too. Oops.
Oops. Don't let a little oops become a big one. Clip new Tempo dry wipes to your visor. They're 4-ply strong for all of life's little oopses. So, wherever you go, take Tempo. New Tempo dry wipes are versatile enough to handle almost anything. They're more convenient than paper towels and napkins and stronger than tissues, especially when wet. On your visor, ready for anything. Wherever you go, take Tempo.
Now there's an anti-aging breakthrough that wasn't found in a lab. It was found in a plant. Almay-kynogen is different from AHAs and retinoids. Found in nature, it helps reduce signs of aging without irritation. Almay, the pure source for beautiful.
NBC next Thursday.
What did you inject into my patient?
Who is the angel of death?
I have 4 bodies in the morgue.
That's killing in the ER.
Don't lie to me, I saw you.
And a brand new relationship.
Glad you came back.
Is getting personal.
You know I used to have a crush on you.
Used to?
Be there for the start. An all-new ER, NBC next Thursday.
Later on the Tonight Show, Jake goes for a ride with the lovely angelic Drew Barrymore. Plus, that 70s dude Ashton Kutcher and the awesome tunes of Sugar Ray. Your local news is totally next.
Now on Wave 3 News at 11, stealing is good in baseball when you're talking about bases. The local police say Louisville's minor league team was a victim of a theft ring stealing cold hard cash. An exclusive story on Wave 3 coming up.
Live from Kentucky on his first television station, this is Wave 3 News at 11 with Scott Reynolds, Cheryl Case, meteorologist John Belsky, and Bob Dominy Sports. Coverage, community, commitment. This is Wave 3 News at 11.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Cheryl Case.
And I'm Scott Reynolds. Up first here at 11, a story you'll only see on Wave 3. Police say a group of local thieves cooked up quite a scheme to steal thousands of dollars, and it looks like the crooks were not baseball fans. Wave 3 investigates tonight. Carolyn Gata joining us live with the latest. Carolyn?
That's right, Scott. Jefferson County Police swung into action, breaking up a major crime ring. Scott, counterfeit checks were being cashed all over Louisville. The business hit the hardest right here at the ball field.
I think it's just luck of the draw, and we were just a bit unlucky.
At Slugger Field, one team is stealing more than home plate. Police say they took almost $40,000 from the Louisville Bats payroll.
The River Bats were able to look at the checks and start determining these are not our checks.
Jefferson County's fraud unit cracked the case with these counterfeit checks and surveillance pictures. Detective Ron Barlow says this woman, Donna Black, the ringleader, made checks on her home computer using the Bats account number.
It's not determining where exactly that account number was obtained, but it can be obtained anywhere.
Police say the thieves forged several business names like Galdhouse East, Allied Drum Service, and Spade Nursing Home. But the fake checks all had the same account number, the Riverbats account number. Police say Donna Black recruited several women to cash $900 checks at the team's bank, First Star.
The person who made the check got half, and they got to keep the other half of the check.
An elaborate setup that ended 2 months later with a careless mistake. Police say one of the women left some checks behind while shopping at the mall.
We were playing baseball one weekend, and apparently some fraudulent checks were out in the marketplace, and a few of them literally were dropped in the Jefferson Mall. Jefferson Mall, being on the ball, brought the checks to us. This was on a Saturday afternoon. We quickly looked at them and realized they were fraudulent checks.
23-year-old Black is now charged with engaging in organized crime, 42 forgery counts and 42 theft counts, all felonies that could land her and the rest of the gang in prison for a very long time. And police believe there are other victims out there. So if you're in a business that cashes checks, you may get a phone call from county police. We're talking about First Star, liquor stores, pawn shops, and food marts all found these checks in the last 2 months. And they do look extremely authentic. Scott?
And Carolyn, that's a lot of money. Will the Bats baseball team get its money back?
Well, I'm afraid First Star is going to suffer the financial loss on this one. Individual banks have individual policies, so they're going to have to cough up about $40,000.
All right, thanks, Carolyn. And thieves do know all sorts of ways to get your personal information to rip you off.
But there are some things you can do to protect your money and your good name. Police say you should invest in a paper shredder for all the junk mail you get with your name and personal information on it. Shred all of your ATM receipts as well and balance your checkbook. If you don't, you may not even know money is missing.
Some very frightening news from California tonight. The governor there, Gray Davis, says there is evidence terrorists plan to attack several California bridges. NBC's Jim Hanchett now with the latest on that.
California is moving rapidly to protect 4 major bridges, including the Golden Gate. The state is acting on a tip passed along by federal authorities that terrorists may attack the spans at rush hour in the next week.
And I am today authorizing General Monroe of the National Guard to assign additional National Guard personnel to those bridges in whatever numbers he feels is appropriate. We are bound and determined to protect Californians.
Davis says the tip is credible. Senior officials at the Justice Department say they're not so sure, and were reportedly surprised that Davis made it public. The governor says it's now up to motorists to decide whether to cross the bridges.
Not at all. I'm not scared.
You afraid to drive across the bridge this week?
Yeah.
You're not?
I'm scared. Yeah.
Here's one anthrax development tonight. New York health officials say the strain of bacteria that killed Kathy Nguyen is virtually identical to what was mailed to Senator Tom Daschle and NBC's Tom Brokaw. On Capitol Hill, key votes on airport security.
The amendment is not agreed to.
The House defeats a Democratic proposal to have federal workers take over the job of screening airport baggage. And the House adopts a plan backed by the president to have private employees at the checkpoints under strict government supervision. Even as that debate unfolded, federal officials shut down a concourse at JFK Airport in New York after seeing workers at metal detectors ignore alarms and wave passengers through. Both sides in the airport security debate say incidents like that point up the need for immediate action. But tonight's votes here mean weeks of negotiations could be ahead before the issue is finally settled. Jim Hanchett, NBC News, Washington.
Well, bridges in Kentuckiana may not be as famous as those in California, but they do carry interstate traffic, and that makes them crucial to business in our area. So what's being done to keep the bridges safe here? Kentucky Transportation Department spokesman Mark Pfeiffer says local police are already on high alert.
So I think it's safe to assume that local law enforcement would be aware of what's going on in California and would be checking those bridges to make sure that there's nothing undue going on.
And Louisville police told us late tonight there's no indication of any danger to the Kennedy Bridge, but they are keeping watch for any potential threats.
Tonight we learned just what UPS is doing to keep workers and the public safe from anthrax. From start to finish, UPS packages are tracked, and a spokesman says that leaves no room for tampering. Investigators say the procedures at Louisville's UPS freight hub exceed federal guidelines, and local emergency officials say those tougher policies mean UPS is one place they are not worried about. A Louisville police officer is in the hospital tonight after an accident. Police tell us that the officer was traveling westbound on Grinstead Drive when another car ran a red light, turning left onto Interstate 64. The officer is being treated for minor injuries only at Jewish Hospital. 3 people in the second car are being treated at Baptist East.
Robert Tools, the first person to receive a fully contained artificial heart, is celebrating 4 months of unbelievable milestones. And tomorrow night, he will share his story with America. Wave 3's HealthCast reporter Lori Lyle brings us the story.
It was July 2nd, 2001, when doctors implanted the AbioCor device into 59-year-old Robert Tools. Too sick for a heart transplant, he said the artificial heart was his only chance at life. Well, today, he's not only living life, he's eager to talk about it. In his first one-on-one interview, Robert Tools sat down with Dateline NBC's Stone Phillips.
And how's the machine?
The machine is fine, the man's fine, and better than the machine. I'm surprised, I'm thankful, I'm grateful, and nobody can tell me anything different than it works.
Living 4 months now with an artificial heart, every beat giving Robert Tools renewed determination. Still a long way to go, but consider the distance he's already come.
He had a hard time lifting his head up when you walked in the room. I remember the first time I saw him, I kneeled down to look up at him because I felt so bad I was making him lift his head up because it was obviously so much work for him.
Now he's lifting 50 pounds in physical therapy. He's gaining weight, basically.
He's listening to his doctors a little bit better because he can see the light at the end of the tunnel. He wants to go home.
Home for the holidays sounds great to Mr. Tools, but
We don't know whether the holidays means Thanksgiving or Christmas or Easter yet.
until then, he's making frequent trips outside the hospital. A celebrity wherever he goes. The Food Network interviewed him on his latest outing to Willie B's Smokehouse Barbecue. Them how much he likes dirty rice and beans. But for Dateline NBC,
It's good to be alive. It's very good to be alive. Very good.
there is talk that if Mr. Tools continues to gain strength, he could actually be a candidate now for a heart transplant. But for now, he just wants to get home. We'll learn much more tomorrow on Wave 3 News at 5 o'clock. I'll talk live with Stone Phillips, and then the Dateline story airs tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. Scott?
All right, thanks for that incredible update, Lori Lyle.
5 new Kentuckiana residents are making quite a splash just 4 days after their arrival. Today, Steve and Stephanie Powell, the proud new parents of Louisville's first quintuplets, talked about their 5 little miracles for the very first time. The 3 boys and 2 girls were born on Sunday at Norton Suburban Hospital. The quints weighed in at just over 2 pounds, but despite their small size, the array of machines and tangle of tubes hooked up to each one, they're all doing amazingly well.
We walked in this morning and found out that everybody was off the ventilator and doing great, and I thought our hearts were going to jump out of our chest. We were just so happy.
Pals are hoping their tiny new additions will be able to go home in time for Christmas. The Powell quintuplets are getting a lot of support, but not every child is so fortunate. There are some children in Kentuckiana both homeless and hungry. The problem is a difficult one to look at, but tonight, Wave 3 Charlie Young shows us the face of hunger and how you can help change it.
This is the face of hunger.
We have trouble in our own backyard now.
Peanut butter. Young kids in Kentuckiana who don't know when their next meal will come.
If any of your audience thinks that a homeless or less fortunate person is a 55-year-old male alcoholic, they're ignorant.
Stan Curtis knows all about hunger. He founded Kentucky Harvest, an organization that reaches out to those in need.
The average age of homelessness in this country is 9 years old.
Don't be so angry. Kids born into poverty with no alternatives.
They should open it.
It's really hard to believe, but this precious little 6-week-old baby girl, Sophia, was born while her mother lived on the streets. Until now, she's gone without the food and clothing she desperately needs.
It was really bad.
Halisna Kilian came here from Africa. She has no family in the U.S., and because of a tough pregnancy, she's been too weak to work.
I had no idea where I was going to go. I had no idea what I was going to do with my life, with myself, with anything. To have her on the streets wouldn't work. She wouldn't survive.
So Halisna had to make some choices for herself and her baby. She came here to Wayside Christian Mission, where she and her little one get what they need to survive.
If it wasn't for Wayside, I would probably not be alive today.
A tough choice to make, coming to a shelter. Sometimes the only choice.
Our children come in sometimes very hungry.
Joanne Thompson has seen it all before. She runs a daycare for homeless kids.
When they leave here, sometimes we don't know if they're going to get anything else because they might not come back.
So while the kids are here, they eat everything they can in case they don't see food for a while. Formula, cereal, baby food in seconds and thirds if they want it. It could be hours, even days before the children eat again. Halisna knows the feeling of hunger, and she doesn't want little Sophia to go to bed that way.
I am so grateful to everybody that has helped me. They helped me up so that today I can smile.
There is a way that you can help make sure little ones like Sophia get the care and nourishment that they need. You can join us tomorrow night at 11 on Wave 3 for more on the Million in a Month food drive and how you can make a difference. Nice story. It's really hard to look at, but Nice to know people are caring and helping.
And it seems like she is headed in the right direction. It'll be interesting to find out where she is a couple of years from now, but probably on her feet and doing well because of the help she's gotten.
Yeah, it's great.
All right. Well, you've heard of America's Most Wanted. It works because regular people get involved and call police.
And you may have a memory or a piece of information that could help police catch a killer. Up next, we'll walk you through an unsolved murder case. Police really want to find this killer.
Plus, huge news for UK basketball fans. Tubby's team in some lofty company tonight. We'll explain what that means.
And out here in the backyard, the weekend forecast for you, plus Belsky's Bluff, it's coming up.
Wave 3 News is brought to you by Kroger. You can always count on us. Go Krogering.
From 8 a.m. Thursday till 10 p.m. Saturday.